Hey guys, welcome to the community garden. Today I am doing a walkthrough and I wanted to show you how everything's going. It's going a lot slower than I expected, but obviously I'm in a new climate and I have to learn it, and it's just a little bit frustrating for me because I'm used to having baskets and baskets of produce by now. It's July 7th today and it just feels really really late to have this small of plants. But let me show you how everything's doing. This first bed is my zucchini and tomato plants, so let me show you them. So with the zucchini, I've had a problem with pollination, so I just went through a couple days ago and hand pollinated several of these that they're putting on fruit, but then the fruit just dies off. I'll try to find one and show you. I don't really see any, but they get about that long and then they just turn yellow and die. And so I'm trying to pollinate them by hand and we'll see if it works. Now my tomatoes, they are putting on flowers. Lots of flowers. You see lots of flowers in there. And the plants are like 12 inches tall, except for this one and this one. So these are the ones that are bred to be in a colder climate, and these are not. And for some reason, these are way bigger and those ones are not. And this is a weed. And so this one, which is the Drusba tomato, I will probably be growing that next year. But then again, I have a bunch of Roma tomatoes in the greenhouse and I think I'm going to be using those. I have a couple beds open still, and so I'm gonna try to plant some of those in the next couple weeks. So basically, I think next year one of the changes I'm gonna make is I'm going to keep everything in my greenhouse until July 1st at least, and then plant it out in the garden. And hopefully next year it'll be in my front yard instead of here. But I will probably keep these beds and continue to learn with raised beds. My gardens at the property right now are raised beds, and they're just logs, like one log tall. And I only have half of one planted out, but maybe that's for the best because the weather's last night, look at me, I'm in a hoodie. Last night it was 42 degrees was the low. It probably got lower. Feels like it's about 39 right now. So I guess we'll just see. But my tomatoes have tomatoes on them, so I don't know whether I should pick. I've never had this problem where the plants are so tiny, but yet now they're producing fruit. These dang log trucks are so loud. Anyways, the soil in my gardens are new this year. These two large, tall, raised beds are new, and so I think that's contributing to the amount of just crap growth that I'm having. And also the weather changes. I've had so many frost advisories or whatever, just really cold weather at night and then really hot days. It's just been really crazy. So I am going to show you the pepper bed now. And this is where I did a lot of my hand pollinating. So, oh my gosh, another truck. And it rained really hard, so you see like this is really dirty because the rain just wiped it. Okay, so hand pollination. Okay, this is what happens. This right here is not pollinated. And so what I did was I grabbed a little plant. Oh gosh, something just flew in my hair. So I grabbed a little, like a really fuzzy plant, and I took it and I rubbed it on the male flower, and then I rubbed it on all the female flowers. And now, look what's happening. We got bigger ones. So I'm hoping that now, I didn't plant any flowers in my beds this year, which I don't usually have to. I never actually have on purpose. But, yeah, so I think I probably should have here, I guess. I guess that's another thing I'll change next year is I'll plant more flowers. But we're getting some zucchini. This was half the size yesterday. So, you know how zucchini grows. If you grow it, it's crazy. But we got some coming on. All 3 of these plants, we're doing good. And the peppers are still just struggling so hard. But if you can see, we got some buds going on. Look at this plant. It's not even as tall as my hand. Like, it's so tiny. But like I said, we've had weird weather. I do see a difference from the last time I came to today. It was actually 2 days ago. Especially, these are the ones that were in my greenhouse for longer. You can kind of tell which ones. They're way bigger. And that's what I think I'm going to do next year is keep them in my greenhouse for longer. But I don't know whether I'm going to pinch these off or keep letting them grow, because I don't know if I pinch them off if they're gonna come back and do anything. I'm worried about doing anything to these plants. But that's the pepper bed. They are tiny. I cannot even believe they're like 4 inches tall. They're so small. But I'll show you. This is don't mind the weeds. I've let this bed go to crap because honestly I was gonna let it just go. I was gonna take all the onions out because I didn't know onions had a fall harvest and they grow all summer. But we got growth, so I can tell. Look at this onion, it's getting so big. I'm so excited. And I'm so glad my friend locally, I talked to her because I told her I picked one out and it hadn't grown at all. She was like, it shouldn't have grown yet. This is all for the leaves right now. Or the stalks or whatever. Anyways, stalks are really nice and healthy and the onions are growing. So at least I'll have an onion harvest this year. I do need to weed it, but not today. This is someone else's garden. It is glorious. But they look at their soil. They have super good soil. Super, super good soil. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look, I grew these broccolis. These are not mine, but the plants are actually mine. That's what I'm talking about, the plants. I started these plants and gave them to this lady, and they're beautiful. Okay, let's grab the baby and move him to the next one. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You doing good? Always smiling. He is always smiling. So, before I move on to this bed has good soil. This bed has been established here, and I didn't do anything to it except take all the weeds out, the grass, which is coming back. It's crazy. When you get a rainstorm, everything goes nuts. And I planted the heck out of this bed. It's kind of funny to me how good it's doing. And I started the process of a new trellis system that I'm doing. But I accidentally planted, when I planted Mary's heirloom seeds here, the green beans were bush beans. And I bought some from the store and I accidentally bought pole beans. So, it's kind of funny what's kind of happening. It's kind of like they're just dancing everywhere. But let me show you this bed. It's kind of amazing. I smile every time I look at this bed because it's doing so good compared to the other ones, but this one has good soil, like I said. All right, so there's the bed. It's crazy. It's got so many plants in here. I think there's over 100 cucumber plants. Just 2 rows of, these are slicing cucumbers. and they're starting to put on their tendrils. They're starting to put on little flowers and buds. Oh, there's a flower and maybe a baby cucumber right there. 2 of them. I'm really excited. I love cucumbers so much. I could live on them. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I've got a 1-inch PVC pipe, and you guys have seen me do the low tunnels before. This is going to be kind of similar, but it's going to be a trellis system. So in here I have 2 rows. I'll try to show you. I have 2 rows of these cucumbers, and in each hole I put 2 plants. So basically each thing is 4 plants. Each little space is 4 plants. And I'm going to put a fence through the middle, if I can get it there when I finally get the pieces, so that the trellis system is going to go up. Oh, hold on, let me stand back. It's going to go up and arching over to the other side, and then all these green beans, I'm going to tie them up to the middle of that arch. So we'll see how that works out. So far I've gotten just the little supports, and I've got to get the 1/2-inch PVC from the store in a few days. But you can see the green beans are coming on. They're stretching, growing, trying to produce. Hopefully they'll wait for me to go ahead and get that trellis system up. I was gonna put a teepee in here, but I decided to just wait and see what happens. But I do need to weed a little bit in here. It's not that bad because I have so many plants in here and they've shaded out all the weeds. But the tomatoes are doing way better in this bed. These are the same tomatoes. These are glacier tomatoes. And we have little tomatoes coming. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to pick them off. I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to talk to Mary about it and see what she thinks. But it feels shameful to to pinch these babies off. The reason there's so many little tomatoes before I caught them is because I came out here one day and there were a few little flowers on the plants, and I was gonna ask, like, what do I do about this or whatever, because I've never dealt with this before. But most people pinch off these flowers, but I don't know if in this area if that's smart to do, because we have such a short growing season. Should we let these fruits go? Is that the fruit harvest that I'm gonna get this year? I don't know. So I was gonna ask and I forgot to, and I forgot to yesterday when I was talking to my local friend about her garden and my garden and if I'm doing good or not. Anyways. And then all of a sudden they just had a bunch of tomatoes on them the next time I saw it. And so I was like, well, what do I do now? There's fruit. I don't want to take the fruit down. So yeah, that's those. Those were just extra tomato plants that got too big for the farmer's market in my little containers, and I just decided to grow them out here. And then I put a little pepper plant in here too. And 2 pepper plants, it looks like. I don't know if they're paprika plants or green peppers. And Asher's getting cold. So let me move on. We've got peas. Okay, here I've got more peas coming in. I planted more peas, but what happened was a mouse or bird, something came in and ate the they like chopped the plants right down by the roots. I'm not sure what it was, but it took all my plants out except for this little strip right here. It's like 5 plants. It's like 5 pea plants. So I planted another succession, and I planted some at home too in a bucket. I just put soil in the bottom of the bucket, and then I put a bunch of seeds, like 100. And then I just covered it up with a little bit of soil, watered it, and it's already coming up really, really big. I'll show you some other time, but it's in the greenhouse, and yeah, it's crazy. It's doing good. So I guess I'm showing you my last bed. This bed is still not planted, But I have Roma tomatoes. That sun is really bright. But I have Roma tomatoes at home, lots of them. And so I think I'm gonna put Roma tomatoes in that bed. And now we're gonna go to this bed. This bed is amazing. I can't believe the growth in 1 week. This is nuts, okay? And I'm really excited about some of the things because we got kohlrabi coming on. Look at this. This is what good soil does, okay? This was the mulch soil that was in the piles behind me. And I put the mulch soil in here. We've got chamomile coming in. We've got chamomile flowers already. I'm so excited. The Thai basil is huge. Dill, I need to do a harvest of this. Calendula, toothache plant. We even have lavender coming on. Let me see if I can step in here. Lavender, lemon balm, yarrow. So exciting. All those herbs. Wonderful. I'm glad I decided to bring them out here. And what's amazing to me is this right here. Within 1 week, it went from plants that were like this tall to this amazing forest of kale and Swiss chard. Just amazing. I mean, look at the size of that leaf. It's gorgeous. And I forgot, that's oregano. I'm gonna actually harvest some of that today because I got my dehydrator yesterday. But we've got kohlrabi. We only have a few plants, but that's okay because I only wanted to test it. That's one of my tester plants for this year. Kohlrabi, and I think I have one more, maybe not. Nope, just two. Just two kohlrabis, just two. And then I've got okra, and it finally started growing. I need to weed this side of the bed. I weeded the other side last time. And then I've got 3 more zucchinis. This is either spaghetti squash or pumpkin. And then this is either spaghetti squash or pumpkin. Now that's the difference. You see this bed and the cucumber bed. The herb and salad bed and the cucumber bed and green beans and tomatoes, and the onions, those have good soil in them. So that, I guess, is the lesson. You need good soil. And I think if I had been here on the community work day, I would have gotten good soil to put into those beds. But our whole family was sick, like terribly, terribly sick. It was a stomach bug, and it was really bad. And so I was the only one that wasn't sick, and I was taking care of everybody. So I couldn't come here. And everybody else got soil bags. I'm pretty sure that's what it looked like. And I didn't get any. So really, good soil. That's the key. At least one of the keys. And then this crazy weather. I think that I'm going to wait next year, which is really hard for me, but wait to plant until July, at least July 1st. But even like today, it's July 7th and it's 42. But if my plants were really big and wonderful, like these plants right here on this bed number 3 right there. If my plants were like that at this stage, I think it would be totally fine and it wouldn't stunt them. Because when they're young babies, like they were when I planted them in the garden, they're gonna struggle more than these big plants are because they have more established root systems. They're just way better off. And so I don't have to water the garden today, so I get to just leave. All the soil is wet all the way up to my knuckle, my big knuckle. So I don't have to water, and I'm gonna be here tomorrow for the market. So I'm gonna lock this gate up and get home. But yeah, I think that soil and heat is gonna be key, and we'll see how it does because I'm about to plant some tomatoes that I've had in the greenhouse, and we'll see if they do better off than these ones that got stunted at an early age. So I guess that's my tip of the day. Use good soil, guys. I'm about to get rabbits tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm getting 2 female rabbits. I'm trading for some comfrey plants. I'm really excited because comfrey can feed and sustain rabbits. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's a whole food for rabbits. And I have a ton of plants. I have like 7 plants right now, but they're huge. And I'm about to start, I started some, but I'm about to start more root cuttings. And I'm about to start more root cuttings, and so I'm going to have tons of comfrey because that's how I'm going to feed the rabbits. Well, they can also eat ferns, which we have tons of, and then in the winter time, we will feed them hay and pellets probably, but we'll see. We'll just have our main breeders in the winter time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.